Welcome back to the DSP podcast. Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 here. Today's main topic will be the NBA free agency, but first we start with a little bit of news. So, I'll be officially adding a co-host who will go unnamed until the next episode. Also, be on the lookout for a collab with League Alerts, bringing you the fastest news to social media, beating guys like Woj and Bleacher Report. So make sure you guys follow him on Instagram. All right, let's dive right into this NBA free agency. What a day we had today as a Boston fan. Very exciting. Kemba Walker officially commits 4 years, $141 million. Also, ex-Celtic Kyrie, causing all sorts of chemistry issues. Officially, looks like he's going to Brooklyn. Both are trying to make it official on, not on Sunday night tomorrow. Free agency opens at 6, so it'll be interesting. So Kemba to Boston. I think it's a really good fit. I've been saying it for a while. A lot of people have been asking about it. I didn't really see it coming. I honestly thought he was going to the Mavericks to team up with Doncic and Porzingis. I know I said that on the last episode, but I mean, here's a guy. He can go, score 30 any given game. He's a prolific passer, but all around is a good teammate. I think that's what the Celtics organization was really looking for here. They got a diva in Kyrie Irving, which they really weren't hoping for with him. That trade, I still think, worked out in his favor, but they certainly weren't looking for that. Kyrie didn't fit. Danny Ainge sort of, said goodbye to him, and I'm sure his teammates helped him pack. He really caused a lot of chemistry issues. In my opinion, it was definitely the root of that problem in Boston. I don't know how they could have got around it. They had a young core, and then him sort of dragging down the team morale. So I think Kemba's going to give Boston good leadership. I think that's the main thing he's going to bring to the table. He's 29 or 30 years old. A lot of people have issues with his age and health concerns. I think it's an issue giving him a 5-year max. I think that's why Michael Jordan shied away from telling management to offer him that deal. It was reported that they offered him 160, and there's no reason to only take $20 million less than an actual basketball city. So, I really like the idea of Kemba to Boston. I like it as a fit in general. I think he's going to go in good with the young guys. So, definitely a huge pickup for Boston. Try to get back on track now, looking for a center. And then on the other side, the ex-point guard, my least favorite player in the league as of right now, burning jerseys all over Boston. Kyrie Irving, 4 years, 141 in Brooklyn, going to destroy their chemistry too. Already know it's going to happen. And it was just, I knew this was happening weeks ago. The dude, he can leave. So now that marks it twice that he's promised promised an organization that he would re-sign, and then ends up leaving. Opening night in Boston, he said he was going to re-sign, and then in Cleveland over the offseason. He's a terrific player, obviously. Chemistry issues this year, inability to lead a team. This is, I definitely bias is creeping in, but as a player, obviously stud. Just I would rate him a little bit above Kemba. I have him as my third best point guard in the league, next to, of course, Steph Curry and now Damian Lillard after a good playoff performance, especially against Oklahoma City. So yeah, Kyrie. I don't know if he fits too well in Brooklyn. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell is leaving now. Kind of kicked him out. I don't know how many years. I think 1 or 2 years there in Brooklyn. Definitely transformed D'Angelo Russell's game, but I think they're gonna try to put him in the best situation possible. D'Angelo Russell, that being, and Kyrie is gonna sort of try to attract another big star, whether it be Kevin Durant or Tobias Harris. I'm almost sure that Kevin Durant will follow him to Brooklyn. I'd be really surprised if he didn't follow him. If he didn't go to Brooklyn, he would stay with the Warriors. But Kyrie's really gonna change the culture there. They're going to go from a little bit less mature. He's going to try to change it. Whether he'll do that or not, I don't think so. Like I said, I don't like the dude. I don't like his chemistry. I think he just creates issues, guy's personality. That's why I would as a Celtics fan. Kemba Walker's good leader, personality, so I'd much rather take him. A little bit of bias creeping in there, but, Celtics fan. So the next big free agent on my list, no, not Kawhi Leonard yet, we'll save him, would be Jimmy Butler. Originally, I've only made 2 switches on my free agent predictions. This is one of them. Jimmy Butler, I had him re-signing with Philly. I know he put out that controversial statement on social media saying, thank you, Philly, which gave it a sort of a connotation that he was on his way out, his departure. But I thought he was going to stay. I still see no reason he'd be, losing around $50 million. Just like any of these free agents. I mean, we're talking about Kemba and Kyrie and now Jimmy. I mean, these guys are losing $50 million. I mean, that's it doesn't seem like a lot of money, but it's a lot of money. I know when we're talking about these 3 digits in the millions, but they're losing $50 million, and, it's an issue, but I don't think Jimmy's really minding it too much, but I thought for sure he'd re-sign in Philly. I thought he had a good year there. Philly would come back stacked next year. They would be easily the favorites for me to win the Eastern Conference. But with his departure, they're definitely in trouble. I'll talk about them later in the episode or in the next episode where we talk about Philly sports only. But, yeah, Jimmy Butler, definitely a huge loss. In not only money, just, in team winning. So my prediction, a lot of people were asking me this on social media about the questions. I have Jimmy going to Miami. I don't see him teaming up. So when we're talking about players in the NBA, one issue that we have is the attitudes, right? Especially now, like I talked about Kyrie. But when we're talking about, like, alpha males, I mean, like, Chris Paul has to top the list as an alpha male in the league, and then you got Jimmy Butler. I mean, these 2 dudes are going to clash back and forth, and you already have the arguments before with Chris Paul making fun of James Harden man boobs, as Skip Bayless said. Another bonehead analysis, but I don't see him going to Houston. I would see a sign and trade. I think Philly and Houston are trying to team up to sort of influence that, but I don't really see that happening. I see Jimmy going to Miami. I think the culture there is going to be good for him. He just doesn't need Houston. I don't think the super team's really his way. I think he's going to create sort of, you're not going to create a own culture in Miami, but within the team, and he's got a bunch of young guys. They could be a playoff team like they were a few years ago. I don't know if they were last year, honestly. I forget. But, he's going to create a new culture sort of within that locker room, and, I just never saw it in Houston. It's just the personality was. I don't know why Houston would even want him. If they did a signing trade with Philly, giving up Capella, that's a huge centerpiece, even though he's on a ridiculous contract that he never deserved due to injuries. But I mean, just like I just couldn't see him coexisting, especially with Chris Paul and then James Harden taking 25 shots a night. I just couldn't see it. I really couldn't. I don't know how that would work. It was definitely appealing, especially if they could keep Capella, but the only way he would go to Houston is a sign and trade, it looks like. So I have him going to Miami. That's one of my only changes. Keeping up with free agency, Al Horford, big free agent, left the Celtics. Sort of a misunderstood player. He played a lot of center for the Celtics, and I think that's why a lot of team, especially fan bases, not as much ownership, but a lot of fan bases don't want him. I mean, this guy's a natural power forward. I think he could fit in with any team today, especially if they're running a big lineup. And one team that sticks out for Al Horford, and I know they've shown interest in him, is the Sixers. So with what you're getting with Al Horford is an extremely versatile player. And unless he figures out, unless there's a drastic change this offseason, you need to figure out his body, because you cannot be in the second round of playoffs and this guy's body's breaking down. So what Al Horford brings you is he's going to get you like high 20s in minutes, low 30s. I mean, he's a grinder, definitely, for the minutes. He's also very versatile. Like I said, he plays natural power forward, but he also can play center. So Embiid goes out, Horford switches over to center, and you still got a solid core around him, especially if they re-sign Tobias Harris. So I think the Sixers, after they lose Jimmy Butler to Miami, probably either tomorrow night or Monday morning. Their main priority needs to be getting Al Horford. Extremely versatile. That'd be a huge pickup for them. Not only offensively, defensively, he can stretch the floor. Pretty good passer, good overall team leader, and just going to give you good quality minutes, unlike, big tree Boban, who can't run up and down the floor. I mean, Philly favorite, but let's be real here. So, yeah, that's the Sixers' main priority has to be Al Horford. That's a huge pickup. And the breaking news today, very disheartening to me. I'm very disappointed and fun guy. I had Kawhi Leonard going to Toronto on a 2-year deal and then eventually finishing up his career in L.A., that L.A. being the Clippers, not the Lakers. But today, Woj drops Kawhi has serious, not mutual, serious interest in the Lakers, and the Lakers have interest in him. Apparently, Magic Johnson and Kawhi's agent are very close, although Magic Johnson could not get in the interview because of tampering rules. Yeah, so Kawhi, I don't understand the move as a player. He is not a guy that seems like he wants to be a part of a super team. I feel like, the guy just wants to stay out of the bright lights, but obviously not here. I like the fit with LeBron. I think it's very odd that some players openly, publicly state that they don't want to play with a guy like LeBron, where he's a team leader, he can pass, he's very unselfish, and they get a good, probably the second best big next to Embiid in the league and Anthony Davis. So I can understand why you'd want to play with them. I don't think Leonard's personality, when we're looking at him, is a guy where I'm like, oh wow, he wants to be on a super team. That's definitely not Kawhi Leonard. So I just thought that was a little ridiculous, but I don't know what you're gonna do if he goes to LA. They're obviously probably gonna championship favorites, in Vegas, but that'd be a huge pickup for the Lakers, especially this late. But they need some more pieces on their bench. But Kawhi goes to the Lakers, that's trouble for the rest of the league. I think they're definitely favorites to win it all. So that's basically your day and a half recap on free agency. A lot of big shifts. Kemba and Kyrie basically confirmed. Definitely exciting. Fulfilled the expectations on what free agency has been. The big decision, I think, is Kawhi and KD. Nothing's confirmed yet. Woj hasn't really put anything out there. Legal Alerts hasn't really put anything out there that's, making us think, oh, he's definitely going to go here. Those are the big free agents. I think KD is probably the biggest free agent move we've seen since LeBron signed with the Lakers. So that's a huge move. All right, getting into the second third of the show, we're going to be talking about a very confusing, and to say the least, MVP race, which really was perturbing, especially to me. I know no one really cares about the NBA awards, but these were a couple days ago, but some of these awards, no, don't get me wrong, I like the awards. Most improved player, Siakam got it. I'm not really following the awards too well, but the one award I want to talk about is MVP. And I don't understand why no one's talking about this award. We just witnessed one of the best single-season performances by an offensive player ever of all time. James Harden, 36.1, second all-time in points per game in a regular season ever. And whenever you're talking about an MVP, I just want to, you just have to fantasize. You take James Harden off the Rockets. How far the Rockets are getting? Good debate. My opinion, they're not making the playoffs. You have Chris Paul, injury prone, obviously the last few years in Houston. PJ Tucker is probably the second. No, not counting Clint Capella's injury prone too. PJ Tucker is probably the second most reliable dude on that team. Once Chris Paul and Capella give you valuable minutes. They're fighting for an 8 seed. They're in there with the Kings. They're fighting for an 8 seed. So then we go over Giannis. Not taking anything away from Giannis. Incredible season he had. Very good job for the Bucks. You take him off. What are the Bucks doing? Okay, you have Middleton. He's about to get the max tomorrow or on Sunday. He's about to get the max, 5 years, 190. You have Bledsoe. Great distributing point guard and can go get you a bucket. Okay, you have Lopez, arguably the best shooting center in the league right now. I don't want to. It's not even really up for debate. He probably is the best shooting center in the league right now. And then who else am I missing on this team? Was Muradic on this team? No. Brogdon, injury prone, but I mean, if we're excluding Harden and Giannis, you're telling me you're taking the Rockets over the Bucks. There's no chance. The Bucks are way better off without Giannis. Harden went on a streak where he had 10 straight 50-point games. I mean, this award, I just don't understand why no one's talking about it. I really don't. I mean, it really blows my mind. If Harden's defense is that bad, that's why they didn't give it to him. I mean, after an offensive season like that, it doesn't even matter. You can jog back every time on defense. I mean, this was complete highway robbery. This dude should have won it. It shouldn't have even been close. Really gets me upset. So going into the back third of this show. So this is a new section. We're going to answer 3 questions off of the DSP Podcast Instagram story that you guys are going to ask me, especially with the co-host. It's going to be a lot easier. We'll probably answer more. But first question, can the Celtics build around Jason Tatum? A question that I've been thinking about basically all day since I put it out there. But when it was first let out that Kyrie was deciding to deciding to sign with Brooklyn, it seemed as though that either Ainge was hinting that this is finally Tatum and Jaylen Brown's team. I was a little nervous at first. Tatum's still 2021, but I think they really could build around him. I think Kemba's role is really going to change for the Celtics. I think he's going to go from more of a scorer to primarily a distributor. But I definitely think they could build around him. He's definitely a superstar in the making. By the age of 25, I expect him to he's up there with 22, 23 points per game. I think that's his ceiling. 24 maybe. I don't see him pushing that much. Especially, Jaylen Brown's a really slept-on player, so I definitely think they could build around him. It'd be tough. They definitely need a center coming forward, but it all depends on how they change Kemba's role. If he goes to more of a pass first guy, I definitely think they could build around him, get 22, 24 points per game. All right, next question. This is a joke. Will the Knicks land 2 superstars? No. The Knicks will not land a single top free agent this year. This organization is horrendous. I can't even get off. If I'm not in a hotel room right now, I'd be screaming about the Knicks. These guys, this management is horrendous. They went from Zion, hoping for Zion this offseason, to Zion, KD, and Kyrie. And now what are they? They're going for Rozier, Marcus Morris, and I don't even know if they're going the third guy. They still have the I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Nikinla, the French dude. This organization is easily the worst in the league. These guys aren't getting anyone this offseason. Horrendous offseason. They have to wait for the draft. RJ Barrett, love you, great player. You're going to the secondary New York team. The Nets are taking over, especially with Irving out there. All right. And the last question. Difference you see in Kemba and Kyrie that will help the Celtics' success. So, like I said earlier, I see Kemba more as a leader. I still don't see Kyrie as a leader. I don't think he's mature yet. I know I said this already, but Kemba's the one quality I like about Kemba, the leadership quality. He's going to come in no matter if we lost by 30. The Celtics lost by 30 last night or they won by 30. He's going to act the same. I love the attitude he brings to the table. And that's something I just didn't see with Kyrie. I saw him mentally checked out. So as a Celtics fan, Kemba is a leader. I'd much rather have him out. I don't care if he, isn't as skilled offensively. He comes and plays defense every possession. He doesn't take any plays off. I love the guy. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like I said, we're going to get a co-host in probably next episode and then start bringing in guests. But the co-host is going to be official basically every episode. More debates, probably a longer episode. And then hopefully we'll start talking about the NFL soon because this free agency stuff is getting annoying. All right, boys. See you.